हेलो एंड वेलकम। आप देख रहे हैं मनी नाइन और मैं हूं कृष्ण कुमार। आज मनी नाइन लाइव पर, मनी नाइन हेल्पलाइन पर हम आपके फाइनेंशियल प्लान में इंश्योरेंस की अहमियत के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं। और आपके सवालों के जवाब देने के लिए हमारे साथ होंगे मिस्टर छाबड़ा फ्रॉम बिजनेस हेड health of Policybazaar.com. Amit Chhabra, thank you so much for joining us here on Money9 Helpline.
Thank you very much.
All right, before we take all the audience questions, बहुत सारे सवाल हमारे पास हैं अभी. Before that, quickly, if I can ask you, post the pandemic के बाद अब हम सबको समझ आ गया कि the importance of buying, medical insurance, health insurance, term insurance, everybody understands it now. लेकिन इस माहौल में लोगों को अगर पहला कदम ले रहे हैं इंश्योरेंस अपने पोर्टफोलियो में बढ़ाने की, तो कैसे करना चाहिए? क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि इट्स ऑल अबाउट गेटिंग इनफ इंश्योरेंस कवर. इट्स जस्ट नॉट इनफ इफ यू बाय सम इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी एंड कीप इट. यू हैव टू हैव इनफ. उसका मतलब क्या होता है?
बिल्कुल, आई थिंक ये एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली इंडिया में अभी भी अवेयरनेस या राइट अवेयरनेस नहीं है इंश्योरेंस के बारे में. तो जो कि मैं बहुत बेसिक से स्टार्ट करना चाहूँगा. देखिए, हम इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं, सब लोग इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं. हम लोग एफडीज खरीदते हैं, हम लोग म्यूचुअल फंड्स में पैसे इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, बहुत लोग गोल्ड खरीदते हैं, राइट? सो आई थिंक एक चीज जो आप किसी भी अगर एक अच्छे वेल्थ मैनेजर के पास जाएंगे, किसी एडवाइजर के पास जाएंगे, वो आपको हमेशा ये बोलेंगे कि आपका पहला इन्वेस्टमेंट आपकी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होनी चाहिए और आपका दूसरा इन्वेस्टमेंट एक अच्छी टर्म इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होनी चाहिए. और मैं ये समझाता हूँ ऐसा क्यों होता है. देखिए, जो सबसे एक बहुत कॉमन सिनेरियो है वो ये है कि आपको किसी को कुछ बीमारी हो जाती है, एक्सीडेंट होता है, कैंसर हो गया, हार्ट प्रॉब्लम, डायबिटीज, कुछ भी हो जाता है और अगर आपको हॉस्पिटलाइज होना पड़ता है उसकी वजह से, तो तब आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस काम आता है. अब ऐसे में अगर आपके पास हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस नहीं है तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपको आपकी सेविंग्स में से पैसे निकालने पड़े, आपको अपनी एफडी तोड़नी पड़े. बहुत बार देखा जाता है लोगों को अपना घर बेचना पड़ता है, अपनी ज्वेलरी बेचनी पड़ती है अगर अगर कुछ मेजर हेल्थ एक्सपेंडिचर हो जाता है. तो इसीलिए बोला जाता है कि आप पहली इन्वेस्टमेंट, सब कुछ छोड़ के पहली इन्वेस्टमेंट आपकी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सबके काम आती है. देखिए, अनफॉर्चुनेटली कभी ना कभी सबको कुछ ना कुछ हेल्थ इमरजेंसी होती है. अब कोविड में तो ये और ज्यादा कॉमन हो गया है. तो ऐसे में
बिल्कुल. अगर मैं पूछूं इस वक्त पर कि ऑन एवरेज हाउ डू यू मेजर कि वेटेज कितना इंश्योरेंस, कितना हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस होनी चाहिए किसी के एक फाइनेंशियल प्लान में?
देखिए, कम से कम 10 लाख रुपए पर पर्सन हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस तो होना ही चाहिए. स्पेसिफिकली अगर आप एक मेट्रो सिटी में रहते हैं तो मान लीजिए अगर आप एक परिवार है जिसमें कि आप, आपकी वाइफ और आपका एक बच्चा है, तो आपको कम से कम 30 लाख रुपए का कवर देखना चाहिए.
All right. On that note, let's quickly start taking in some of the questions that have come in. हमारे साथ first question from S. Banerjee from East Kolkata Township. S. Banerjee is asking, I am 42 years old, single mother with a 13-year-old son. I've always felt that the savings part of an endowment plan is a waste. Should I opt for term insurance? Amit, tell us, this is a question of weighing one against the other, endowment plan versus a term insurance. Is that the right comparison to make?
See, I think it is a function of the life cycle also, right? So, like in this case, as I see for Ms. Banerjee, she has a dependent. She has a 13-year-old son to support. She has to support his education. She has to support schooling, college, and other expenditures also, right? The way to think of term insurance here is that in case, God forbid, something happens to you, will your son be able to survive on his own? And that is why you want to build this corpus, and that is why term insurance comes into the picture. So you have to think that if tomorrow something happens to you, your son should be getting enough money, or a nominee who takes care of the son should be getting enough money, so that all his requirements, needs relating to money are at least fulfilled by the term insurance sum assured that you're opting for. So that sum assured maybe 50 lakhs, maybe 1 crore, maybe 5 crores. That is a function of your lifestyle. It's a function of your needs. What kind of expenditure do you have? What kind of assets or liabilities do you have? But essentially what we're saying is you must definitely opt for term insurance, one, and secondly, you should look at the amount of sum insured by basically saying how much money
Hmm.
will my son need tomorrow if I go away. That's the right way to look at the term insurance policy.
And your take on the endowment plan?
See, that's a way to look at investments. I'm basically saying first opt for your term insurance, because that is, as I said, right, that's the basic need. Endowment is more from a way of growing your money. You can look at that if
Hmm.
you have spare money, but I would say that's the next step. The first step is
Hmm.
first protect yourself and your son, because in case something happens to you tomorrow, your son should not be lost and should not be in a situation where he doesn't know what will happen in the future. So first secure the future, and then I think invest
All right.
rest of your money and multiply the money.
All right, point taken. Now quickly moving on to the second question, हमारा दूसरा सवाल। मैं 8 साल से निवेश करता हूं, मेरे म्यूचुअल फंड में 7 लाख रुपए हैं और मेरे पास 50,000 रुपए के शेयर हैं। मैंने यूलिप में निवेश किया है। मेरी कंपनी मुझे 1.5 लाख रुपए को का हेल्थ कवर प्रदान करती है। क्या मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट पोर्टफोलियो सही है या मुझे इसमें कुछ बदलाव करना चाहिए? क्या मुझे टर्म प्लान लेना चाहिए? सवाल पूछ रहे हैं मनन भावसार, सुरेंद्र नगर, गुजरात से। अमित,
देखिए
आपका जवाब।
मनन जी, इस केस में मैं आपको सबसे पहले ये बोलना चाहूंगा कि जो आपका हेल्थ कवर है 1.5 लाख रुपए का, वो कम है। और आजकल का टाइम देखते हुए तो 1.5 लाख बहुत ही कम है। देखिए 1.5 लाख, आप किसी भी अच्छे हॉस्पिटल में जाते हैं, आप कोई भी ट्रीटमेंट आपको अगर करवाना पड़ता है, तो 1.5 लाख रुपए आपके लिए कम पड़ सकता है। तो मैं आपको पहली चीज ये रेकमेंड करना चाहूंगा कि आप अपने पोर्टफोलियो में, जो अगेन जैसे मैं बोल रहा था, बेसिक सबसे पहली चीज होती है अपना हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान लेना, और एक एडिक्वेट हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान लेना, ताकि वो कम ना पड़े अगर कोई दिक्कत होती है तो जैसा कि मैं पहले कह रहा था, आपको अपना हेल्थ कवर बढ़ाना चाहिए। 1.5 लाख से 10 लाख रुपए पे पहुंचना चाहिए। एंड जैसे कि मैं देख पा रहा हूँ, आप अपनी कंपनी के हेल्थ कवर पे डिपेंड कर रहे हैं। इन दिस केस वो करते रहिए, वो आपका बैकअप प्लान होना चाहिए, लेकिन आपका एक खुद का एक 10 लाख का कम से कम हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान होना चाहिए, जिससे कि अगर आपको कुछ भी होता है, आपकी फैमिली में भी किसी को कुछ होता है, तो आप पे कोई फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेस नहीं आएगा। ये पहली चीज मैं आपको बोलना चाहूंगा। दूसरी चीज, हम टर्म प्लान की बात कर रहे थे, इसमें दो फैक्टर इसमें है मनन जी, जो इसमें मेंशन नहीं है, वो आपके डिसीजन मेकिंग क्राइटेरिया बनेगा। पहली चीज कि आप पे कोई डिपेंडेंट अगर है तो मान लीजिए अगर कल को गॉड फॉरबिड अगर आपको कुछ हो जाता है, और तो आपके अगर आप पे कोई डिपेंडेंट है, आपकी फैमिली, वाइफ, बच्चे, पेरेंट्स, कोई भी ऐसे हैं जो आपकी इनकम पे डिपेंड करते हैं, तो उनका क्या होगा। दूसरी चीज, अगर आपके पास कोई भी लाइबिलिटीज है, जैसे कोई हाउसिंग लोन ले रखा है या कोई भी लोन आपने ले रखा है, अगेन जो कि परेशानी में आप पड़ जाएंगे, अगर आपको कुछ हो गया, आपके पीछे आपके डिपेंडेंट्स परेशानी में पड़ जाएंगे। अगर ऐसा कुछ भी है, इन दैट केस मैं आपको रेकमेंड करूंगा एक टर्म प्लान भी लेना चाहिए। ये पहली दो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। उसके बाद आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, जैसे आप म्यूचुअल फंड में कर रहे हैं। मैं देख रहा हूँ आपका अच्छा अच्छा पोर्टफोलियो बना हुआ है म्यूचुअल फंड का, इसके लिए आपने यूलिप भी ले रखा है, शेयर में भी इन्वेस्ट कर रखा है। तो ये मैं बोलूंगा कि आपने एक बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच ले रखा है, लेकिन एक जो बेसिक चीज है इंश्योरेंस, वो आपके पोर्टफोलियो में मिसिंग है या बहुत कम है। तो मैं रेकमेंड करूंगा कि आप पहले उसको पूरा करिए, उसके बाद आप बाकी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स पे जाइए।
All right, Manan Bhavsa, Sundarnagar, Gujarat से सवाल पूछ रहे थे, and the answer from Mr. Amit Chhabra of Policybazaar.com. We have a live question coming in as we speak. Amit, we have a question coming in from Saurabh Vadvan, is what I'm being told. Saurabh Vadvan is asking, can we invest in LIC endowment plan, life cover plus 6 to 7% return, term 21 plus sovereign guarantee instead of investing in debt mutual funds, no life cover plus 67% returns plus no SG, as per my understanding, and further on. So, what would be your instant response to these questions?
So Saurabh, you should look at some more factors here. I think one important factor is to look at the kind of lock-in that each man has. ये आपकी requirement depend करता है. Are you okay with locking in your money for the long term, or you want liquidity in the short term or in the long term as well? Let's say कल को आप घर खरीदना चाहते हैं, आपको कोई और जरूरत पड़ जाती है. Are you okay with locking in your money for the long term? I think that is one very important question that you must look at. And the second thing is, you should also, so I think the other factors you're comparing, right? You're looking at life cover, you're looking at the return, and you're looking at the guarantee. So from that perspective, yes, but again, मैं आपको ये बोलना चाहूँगा, in most LIC endowment plans, they are very long-term plans. So you may end up locking in your money for a very long period of time, whereas debt mutual funds typically may not have a very long lock-in. So ये एक factor अपने लिए consider कर लीजिए before you decide. Otherwise, you are looking at the two right options.
All right. So both options are good. This is a good problem to have in that sense, is the word coming in from Amit Chhabra. Amit, we have one more live question coming in at the stage. We have Mr. Rajkumar Saini having a question for you. Let's have that up. Rajkumar Saini is asking, hi, could you tell me about Kotak Global Innovation Fund or Fund Mutual Fund? Is it good for investment for the long term? It's a very specific question, Amit.
See, I would not want to comment on a specific fund, but what I would suggest is look at the parameter, look at some metrics जो कि आपको बहुत आराम से मिल जाएंगे. You should look at one. You should look at their long-term return. उनका let's say पिछले 3 years, 5 years में कितना return आया है. What is that rate of return that they're able to provide, and compare it with the best. See, last few years have been good for the stock markets. So you must compare it with other funds and then decide how good or bad they are in terms of performance. That's one. Second, you should look at also the risk parameters, because see, this is an innovation fund, so you might want to also see that what kind of stocks are they investing in? Are they investing in small companies where the risk and return is higher, versus are they investing in large companies? So I would suggest look at these parameters before you decide. Kotak is obviously a very renowned name. It's one of the largest business groups in the country. So from a security perspective, I don't think there's any challenge, but I would still suggest look at some of these parameters and compare across the best performing mutual funds before you can decide which is good or bad for you in the long term.
All right, point taken. Now let's quickly get back to some of the other questions that we have got. Amit, more questions coming up. This one from Alok Mishra from Pune. Alok Mishra is asking, I am 32 years old and my investment horizon is of 25 years. I have investments in MF, FD, PPF, and covered under my wife's company insurance policy. I'm a non-smoker and non-alcoholic. I want to opt for a term insurance policy. I should opt for which term insurance policy? Do I also need to purchase a separate health insurance policy? Amit, what would you suggest?
Sure. So two questions here. So one, from a term insurance perspective, see, the way to look at term insurance is typically it is recommended that you should buy 10 to 20 times of your income. And also it's a function of what liabilities you have and what kind of dependence is there on you. So like in this case, I can see that you're married. If let's say your wife is dependent on you for your income, or you're planning to have children in the future, and you want that in case something happens to you and your income goes away and you go away, in that case you must opt for a term insurance policy, because you don't want your dependents to be scrambling for money at that stage. Now, as I said, typically the thumb rule is to look for 10 to 20 times of your income is how you should look at the sum assured for your term insurance policy. It's a function of a lot of things, as I said, right? It's a function of the kind of lifestyle that you live. It's a function of any liabilities that you have. So if you have a housing loan, or any car loan, or any big loan that you might have taken, a personal loan or something, then again term insurance becomes even more important, because God forbid if something happens to you, you don't want banks chasing your family for the money that you owed them. So in that case, term insurance becomes very important. So you must opt for it. When you said which term insurance policy, so I would suggest so see, you're young and you don't have any of those smoking, drinking habits, as I see. You will have multiple options. You can I would say you can look at any of the large prestigious companies. There are multiple options, like there is Max Life, there is HDFC Life, there is ICICI Prudential, there is Tata AIA. Multiple options that you could look at, and based on the price, based on the features, you can decide which term insurance policy to go for. So that's part one. The second part is the separate health insurance policy. I think this is again very, very important, and I would say this should be, as wealth managers always say, health insurance should be the number one purchase when you make from an investment perspective. I see that you are covered under your wife's company's insurance policy. You've not mentioned the sum insured in this case, but again, I would suggest this should be a backup, and both of you must invest in a health insurance policy together. And I would suggest look at least 20 lakh rupees sum insured for both of you combined in a floater policy. That to me is the number one investment that you must do, followed by a term insurance policy.
All right, that's wonderful. That's a number that you've put over there. It's 20 lakh rupees for a couple. at this stage is what you would say. Without children, if there's going to be just a couple, husband and wife, then 20 lakh rupees is the sum insured that we should be looking at when it looking at a overall cover, a health insurance cover for two of you put together for a so-called beginnings of a nuclear family, so to speak. So now let's move on to the next question that we have. Amit, the next question is from Mukesh Majumdar, 63 years of age, from Mumbai. I'm a retired government employee and have 5 lakh rupees for investment. I receive a pension of 22,000 rupees, FD interest and dividend income from shares. I don't have an insurance policy. What should I do to cover my health costs and medical emergencies? Amit, this is a planning for insurance at a much later stage in life. In that sense, how would you suggest he goes about it?
So in this case, Mukeshji, what I would want to recommend to you is that one, definitely go for a health insurance policy. I think it's a no-brainer, and specifically, as you age, you would have medical conditions. So one, definitely get a health insurance policy. I think the good thing here is today you have options to buy policies on EMIs as well. So you don't have to pay. So at above a certain age, I'm assuming you will be around 60 years of age. At 60 years of age, the premium will be higher. So it won't be, let's say, 5,000-10,000 rupees. The premium will be anywhere between 25 to 30,000 rupees for your age, for let's say 10 lakhs sum insured. What you can easily do is, instead of paying that 25,000 rupees, upfront, which may be a burden for you because you're dependent on your pension or 22,000 rupees, I would suggest what you can do is you can easily buy a health insurance policy on EMIs. So you will end up paying only 2,000 rupees per month instead of paying 25,000 rupees in one go. And that will allow you to cover all your health costs and medical emergencies. It could be COVID, it could be a heart problem, it could be cancer, anything that may happen to you will be covered in your health insurance policy. So I would suggest, as I was saying earlier, go for a 10 lakh rupees sum insured policy at the least. It will cost you about 2,000 rupees per month, and you will have to be paying through EMIs. So it won't be a very difficult process. It won't be a burden on your monthly income as well.
All right. At this stage, we have a live question coming in, Amit, and that's from Shubhrata Chaudhary asking a question. If you can have that up. Shubhrata Chaudhary wants to ask, what is the best health insurance company? I have Star Health Plan. So again, a really pointed question. Is there a simple answer to that?
So one, Star Health is a very good company. You made the right choice. It is one of the largest companies, and it's the fastest growing company in the country right now. And it's fairly large also. It's the largest standalone health insurer. So one, you have the right plan. The only thing that I will say is, so best is very subjective. What may be best for you may not be best for somebody else, etc. So it depends completely on, the kind of plan you have, what kind of needs you have. But in general, Star Health is the largest, most prestigious health insurance company, so you can't really go wrong with them. The only one thing that I will say is make sure that you know your plan and the terms and conditions of the plan very well. I think that is one thing which I would urge you to do, so that at the time of hospitalization there is no confusion, and the kind of plan that you have. Like, I'll give you an example over here. There are some companies which give you any room in the hospital and they will pay for it. Whereas there are some companies which say that you can only go in a room of 5,000 rupees per day. So just make sure that you have that clarity. And all companies have all kinds of plans. So again, there is no one good or bad company, to be very honest. But make sure that you know about your plan, and that's all. Otherwise, Star Health is a great company to go with.
All right. Amit, we have one more live question coming in from Akshaya Kumar on the show. Akshaya Kumar is asking, due to my income being less than 5 lakh rupees, companies are denying me to give insurance. What type of insurance will be best suited for me then?
Akshay,
what type of insurance?
Sure, Akshay, I think आप term insurance की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, because उसके लिए income एक certain minimum income requirement होती है. Yes. So in this case, what I would suggest is there are options now available which are available for people of income less than 5 lakhs also. So there are those options available. So you can go for a term insurance now. You can go to Policybazaar.com, search for the term insurance plan, mention your income over there, and you will get options which will give you So there are options now available for self-employed people. There are options available for people whose income is even below 3 lakh rupees. So those options are available now. Traditionally they weren't, but now those options are available. So you can be rest assured you can get your term insurance plan now.
All right. I'm afraid we've completely run out of time on this edition of Money9 Helpline with that question from Akshaya Kumar. Amit Chhabra, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on this edition of Money9 Helpline and answering all questions related to the अहमियत of insurance in our financial plan. Amit Chhabra जी हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you very much.
All right, and with that, it's time to wrap up this edition of Money9 Helpline. और मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि for more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us across all social media platforms. @Money9 Live is our handle. और हमारी वेबसाइट पे भी लॉग इन करना चाहिए आपको www.money9.com. और इस शो देखने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. This is Krishnakumar saying अलविदा.